Hello everyone, Striker here. Today we're gonna take a look at the PS4. It's probably one of my favorite shotguns in Battlefield 4 and in FPS games in general. I just love the sound it makes when you blow a man's head off. Shotguns have gone through somewhat of a transformation in Battlefield 4. For the longest time they were unusable because of the way the spread worked. A shotgun has a circular aiming reticule to denote the spread of the buckshot or flechette rounds. One would expect that all the pellets from the buckshot land in this circle, and that is roughly how it works at this point. But that isn't how it used to work. Let me try and explain. The spread of one shotgun shot was indeed your reticule, but the center of your buckshot spread would not necessarily be in the center of your circle reticule. In fact, the center of your buckshot could be anywhere in that circle, and that is what used to make shotguns so inaccurate. You had no idea where your pellets were going, because you had to work with the two circles. At the start of Battlefield 4, half of your pellets could fall out of the circle reticule you see on your screen, since the center of the buckshot could be anywhere in that circle. A few updates ago they got rid of this system for the most part, making shotguns way more accurate, though sometimes it can still vary. I'd even say that shotguns are maybe too powerful again. As you will see through today's video, the range of the PS12 is somewhat better than one would expect from a shotgun. Not only that, but if you are very close to your enemy, let's say closer than 5 meters, you don't even need to land every pellet in a shot to kill that enemy with one shot. Let's talk shells first. There are 4 different types of shotgun shells in Battlefield 4, namely buckshot, flechette, slugs and frags. The shell damage is independent of what type of shotgun you are using. Buckshot always does a maximum of 11.2 up to 24 meters and it drops down to 5.6 at 32 meters. Flechette rounds on the other hand are somewhat of a longer range shotgun shell and travel faster, with a slightly tighter pattern, but they do less damage, namely 8.4 up to 24 meters, which drops down to 4.2 at 32 meters. Both buckshot and flechette damage patterns are the same for pump action and automatic shotguns. Slug and frag shells differ for both versions of shotguns. For a pump action shotgun, slugs do 100 damage up to 50 meters. This drops down to 45 damage at 60 meters. If you have an automatic shotgun, it only does 75 damage at 12 meters or less, which then drops down to 38 damage at 50 meters. Frag rounds are a bit more complex, since they both have impact damage and explosive damage attributed to them. The splash damage stays the same between pump action and automatic shotguns, namely 25 at 2 meters, which drops down to 0 at 2.5 meters. The impact damage differs, but the drop off distance is the same between pump action and automatic, namely 25 to 50 meters. The maximum damage for a pump action frag shell is 40 and the minimum is 25. For an automatic shotgun this is 25 and 15. It is clear from these values that the buckshot is your go-to close range ammo. Flechette rounds can be used a little further out, but will be outperformed by the buckshot at close range. The slugs are your sniping ammo if you are very accurate and going for headshots helps. But remember, it acts very much like a sniper here, since there is only one slug per shot. But in contrast to the snipers, it moves way slower. And frag rounds are more of a crowd control ammo type, or if you feel the need for some extra explosions. I usually just go for the buckshot round, since this is what shotguns are meant for, that CQB fast action. Now let's take a look at some stats of the PS12. We'll start with the stat that makes each shotgun unique, and that is how many pellets there are in one round. For the PS12 there are 18 pellets in one round. This gives one buckshot shell a total damage of 201.6. This is amazing, and on its own it might look like overkill. But of course not every pellet in one round hits the enemy. There are 2 shotguns with more pellets in one shot, and that's the 870 and the Hawk, with 19 and 21 pellets respectively. So the PS12 is certainly at the top when it comes to the amount of pellets in a single round. To balance this out, DICE gave the PS12 an RPM of 92. This comes down to roughly 1.5 round per second. Not very fast, but this shouldn't come as a surprise either, since one round can do up to 200 damage at close range. This rate of fire is of course at the low end of the spectrum of the shotguns. This also comes down to the fact that there is quite a discrepancy between pump action and automatic shotguns. Generally speaking, if a shotgun has more than 15 pellets in a round, it probably has a fire rate below 100. If a shotgun has less than 15 pellets, chances are the rate of fire is above 200. It's a way of balancing and making sure that all the shotguns do around the same damage per second. It doesn't mean that all shotguns play the same though. If your rate of fire is 92, it will incentivize you to be more accurate and spam less shots down range. As you can see in today's video, whenever an enemy is close and unaware of my presence, I try to line up the shot perfectly so that I can kill them in one hit. One more important stat to know about is the magazine size. A SPAS 12 magazine holds 9 rounds, giving you a total damage of 1814 per magazine. 9 rounds per magazine is in the middle of the pack, if we're talking about the shotguns. One last thing we might want to talk about is the spread. If you're aiming down sight and standing still, your spread will be 0.1 and it will increase to 0.4 if you are moving. These are the lowest values for the shotguns. The hipfire spread is the same for most shotguns at 1.25 when standing still and 1.75 when moving. If you take all these stats together, we have a very powerful shotgun and in my opinion one of the best shotguns in the game, if you have the accuracy to back it up. Before we end this video, I want to talk about how I like to run the SPAS 12 and basically every shotgun if I ever use one. For the sight, it comes down to personal choice. Most likely a red dot sight, but anyone is fine. A magnification on a shotgun is totally unnecessary in my opinion. As accessory I go for the laser sight, if I need to hipfire in those clutch situations. The accessory slot isn't that important in Battlefield 4 though, and it would not make or break a gun most of the time. For the barrel there are some interesting picks that can be made. A muzzle brake or compensator aren't really the right pick for shotguns. As you might have noticed, I didn't talk about the recoil this whole video, and that's because it's just not that important with shotguns. While the recoil is relatively high with respect to the assault rifles or other automatic weapons, it's just not that crucial since you don't really need to track a target. Combine this with the fact that if you are using buckshot, you aren't shooting one bullet, but multiple pellets and thus covering a certain area and not a single point. This makes that pinpoint accuracy unnecessary for shotguns. Both the muzzle brake and compensator can be useful though when using slugs, but I hardly ever use slugs with shotguns. You could also put a duckbill on your barrel. This will make your shotgun spread elliptical in the horizontal direction. Now personally, I can't think of a reason why you would ever want to do this. I could say if it was a vertical ellipse so that it would cover the complete body of your target. But the duckbill just doesn't make sense as it is. So it comes down to the choke, either the modified choke or the full choke. Both tighten your shotgun spread, but of course the full choke tightens your spread even more than the modified choke. The negative attribute of the choke is the fact that it will make your hipfire worse. And it's also not recommended with slugs. So here you have to make a decision about what your playstyle will be. Are you going to run and gun, hipfire your way through hell, then go for no barrel attachment? Are you going to aim down sights for every kill, much like you see me do in this video, then go for the full choke? Are you not sure what you will be doing, or maybe you like both, then go for the modified choke, which sits somewhere in the middle of the two choices. Personally, I always go for the full choke, because as you can probably see in today's video, I always aim down sights just before I shoot an enemy. And at this point I can't even help it. It's just a reaction. I tap L1 just a split second before R1. And it comes to the point where I do it every shot. Even if my first shot doesn't kill the enemy, I let go of L1, press it again immediately and shoot again. I hardly ever track an enemy with ADS the whole time. Personally, I like shotguns a lot. It gives you such a good feeling when you blow the enemy out of existence with just one shot, and that sound makes it all the more rewarding. I agree that not a lot of skill is involved in using the shotgun, and that it can piss off people quite easily. And this is very noticeable because of the fact that once you start using a shotgun and get some kills with it, more people will start to use the shotgun. And if I can give you one tip when using a shotgun, it would probably be double tap. Because shotguns are still somewhat inconsistent from time to time. So be sure a target is dead and maybe, just maybe, shoot him one more time. That was it for this review. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a comment or like it, and if you're curious about what is to come next, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.